Hello everyone, my name is Prachi and today I am here with the topic conversion of fractions into decimals. So before we go to conversion, let me first tell you what are decimals and what are the terminologies that we use in the decimal numbers. So let's take example. I'll take the example where there are more decimal places so that I can explain you. It is 315 point. Now this is decimal point. 0.501. If you notice, I have said 315. Okay, so the digits before decimal point I read it like normal numbers 300 along with their places, isn't it? 315. But the digits which are after the decimal point, you are supposed to call them out separately, not 501 but 501 separately. Okay, so this is how you must read the decimal number. Now let's see their terms. Well, like what do we call them? What are the different parts in the decimals? So for example, I told you this is called as a whole number. So this is our whole number. Then this one is our decimal point. And this part which is after the decimal point is called fractional part. Fractional part. Okay, so these are the different terminologies we use in the decimal numbers. The first part, the part which is before decimal point, is called whole number. Then comes the decimal point, and all the digits after the decimal point are fractional part. Okay, and you should say them separately, every digit separately. Now let's move towards the conversion of these fractions into decimal. Let's take example. Suppose 7 upon 10. Okay, so while converting this fraction into decimals, so you can see this is fraction because it has numerator, it has denominator, so it's a fraction. We are converting this fraction into decimal. So how many decimal places a number should have totally depends on how many zeros its decimal has. Okay, and let me tell you, this trick works only you have 10, 100, 1000, that is the multiples, only one with zeros. I cannot say multiples, one with zeros, only then this trick works. Okay, so how many zeros its denominator has? Its denominator has 1 0. So there should be one decimal place only, and that is why 0.1 decimal place means only 7 can come, right? So if I tell you the next example, if I take 7 upon 100. Now here how many zeros do we have? Two zeros, okay? Two zeros, that means two decimal places. So 0 point, we need now two places, isn't it? And this 7 is one of them. Now where should you write? Should you write this 7 here or here? You have two options. But yes, the number which is there, if there is a single digit, okay, then write it extremely to the right. And then with the remaining place, what should you do? Place 0. That's it. So what you should check is the number of zeros in the denominators are 2 and the number of decimal places in a number is 2. So number of zeros in the denominator is equal to number of decimal places. Let me take another third example of the same kind. 7 upon 1000. 7 upon 1000, how many zeros we have? 3 zeros. That means decimal places should be 1, 2, 3. Isn't it? And as I told you, 7 should be written extremely right. Rest of the places fill it with zeros. And now you can check it. Like we'll check it with all these three examples. So 10 has 1 0. So your decimal number has one decimal place. 100 here has two zeros and this answer is having two decimal places. 1000 has three zeros and there are three decimal places. So it's clear now, number of zeros is equal to number of decimal places. Now let's take one more example like 35 upon 100. 35 upon 100. So how many zeros a 100 has? Two zeros. That means how many decimal places? Two decimal places. Now two decimal places are there, but we have our two digits, that is 35. So we have to directly write 35. That's it. So this is how you convert. Suppose if I take 56 upon 1000. How many zeros it has? 3 zeros it has. Okay, so decimal places should be 1, 2, 3, isn't it? And then now if I write, because last you should write your number at the last places. So 56. Now remaining place fill it with 0. So again if we consider 35 upon 100 has 2 zeros and we got 2 decimal places. 56 upon 1000 has 3 zeros in the denominator, and that's how we result into the decimal number which has 3 decimal places. So number of zeros in the denominator is equal to number of decimal places. Okay, so this is about the fractions, okay, normal fractions. Let's learn how to convert the mixed fraction. For example, if I have 6 and 9 upon 10. Okay, this is a mixed fraction. Looks like complicated, but it's very simple. So in mixed fraction also we consider this 6 as a whole number. How do we write whole number in decimals? We write it before the decimal point. So 6 point. Now 9 upon 10. 10 has how many zeros? 1 0. That means how many decimal places will require? Only 1. So 6.9. Okay, now let me take the example where the denominator is 100. For example, we have 5 and 24 upon 100. Okay, so here we have our whole number, that is 5, and then now focus on 24 upon 100. Now 24 upon 100 has how many zeros in the denominator? 2 zeros. That means how many decimal places will be required? 2 decimal places. And we have our 2 digit in the numerator itself. Okay, so your number is 5.24. Very simple. This is how you convert the mixed fraction into decimals. Okay, so the number which is called as a whole number, so write it before the decimal point, and then conversion of this fraction is just like how we learnt earlier, normal fractions. Totally depends on how many zeros a denominator has. Very simple. Now if I take it like opposite, okay, we have covered this topic in the chapter of fractions, but let's do it once again because this topic is we are converting fractions into decimals. So let's learn vice versa, that is decimals into fractions. For example, if I have decimal that is 5.6, okay, so now the trick which I told you earlier, you have to use is opposite. How many decimal places are there? How many? 1. Okay, that means your denominator should be having 1 and then 1 0, right? Number of decimal places 1, number of zeros in the denominator 1, right? And then that's it. Remove the decimal point, 56. Okay, if I take one more example like 2.60. So first of all, remove the decimal point from the number, that is write it 260 upon how many decimal places? 2 decimal places. That means over 1 you have 2 zeros here. Very simple. If I take one more example like 3.47 and let's take it 3 digit this time, 471. Okay, so first of all, remove the decimal point, 3471. You can see now after the removal of decimal point, I said the number exactly the way we read it, you know, like a normal number. So I read it like that. Now, how many decimal places? 3 decimal places. That means one should have how many zeros? Correct? 3 zeros. So this is how you should convert decimals into fractions. I hope this small topic is we have covered here is helpful for you. And we'll see you in the next video with some new topic. Until then, bye-bye.